morning, Toby Johnson. I'm Katie, and it's First Thing First Period on Wednesday, April 27th, 2016.
That means it's time for First Things First on TJTV. I'm Emily.
If you love K-pop videos like Twice or BTS, or K-dramas like My Love from Another Star, then come to the K-Club today and every Wednesday after school and MF8.
Since we only have a few announcements today, we thought you might like to see a debate-style show we created called Face Off.
Welcome to Face Off. I'm TJTV's Jordan Yang with Armando Londano and Chance Chambers. Today we're going to discuss discrimination against African Americans. We're going to start off talking about a time in our nation's history when discrimination was an all-time high. Armando, tell us about discrimination in the 1950s.
Discrimination was terrible in the 1950s, but Rosa Parks changed that. She was a woman who refused to give up her seat for a white person after a hard day's work.
Before the 1960s, colored people were only allowed to sit from the fifth row and back, and if a white person wanted their seat and they refused, they would be arrested.
That is what happened to Rosa Parks on December 1st, 1955.
Which is why December 1st is now Rosa Parks Day.
After she was released from jail, she became a civil rights activist and invited many people to boycott the buses. The buses lost a lot of money and were forced to change that law. Rosa Parks won. She is now known as the Mother of Freedom because of this. Events like this don't happen today, and as a nation we have moved past this time and no longer discriminate against people of color.
I recognize and acknowledge what you're saying, but I think you're wrong when you say that we no longer discriminate against people of color. Let's take this year's Oscars, for example. This year in the Oscars, there was a lot of talk beforehand about how the Oscar nominees had no diversity whatsoever. No black men or women actors were nominated, and people were furious.
Isn't this the second year that this has happened?
Yes, it is, and that's what made people even more angry. Even though some films with actors of color were nominated, the actors themselves were not nominated. Many have concluded that the Academy was discriminating against the many fine actors of color who made films this year. For example, Straight Outta Compton was in the Oscars this year. Almost the whole cast is African American, and all of them were great actors.
That's right, even the director of the movie is African American.
Yes, but the movie was nominated for Best Screenplay, and the screenplay is written by two Caucasian men. So as an African American, I feel like my race is still being discriminated against today.
Okay, I can definitely see where you're coming from. I haven't looked at it that way before, and clearly America still has many modern issues.
Well, thank you, Armando and Chance, for sharing your facts and opinions with us today.
No problem.
Thanks for having us.
As you can see, many Americans believe that as a nation, we have moved past hate and discrimination. However, as we have evidence today, our nation has not. There is still a lot of room for improvement. So we ask you, how can you help America move past this? As a middle schooler, open your eyes, notice what is around you, and do your part to educate yourself to see the harm in discriminatory thoughts, beliefs, and actions. It ends with us. That's all for today's Face Off. Thanks again, Armando and Chance, for coming on today. I'm Jordan Yang.
That episode gave me a lot to think about.
Now let's go to Armando for today's TDIH.
This day in history.
First on this day in 4977 BC, the universe is created, according to German mathematician and astronomer Johannes Kepler. Considered a founder of modern science, Kepler is best known for his theories explaining the motion of planets. Next on this day in 1865, an explosion on a Mississippi River steamboat kills an estimated 1,547 people, mostly Union soldiers returning home after the Civil War. Although this disaster near Memphis took a huge toll, it was barely noticed against the backdrop of the end of the Civil War, a conflict in which tens of thousands had died. Also on this day in 1822, Ulysses S. Grant, Civil War leader and 18th President of the United States, is born on this day in 1822. The son of a tanner, Grant showed little enthusiasm for joining his father's business, so the elder Grant enrolled his son at West Point in 1839. Finally, on this day in 1941, the German army enters the Greek capital, signaling the end of Greek resistance. All mainland Greek and all the Greek Aegean islands except Crete are under German occupation by May 11th. That's it for me. I'm Armando reporting for TJTV. Now back to you.
Thanks, Armando.
That's it for today's show.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of First Things First on TJTV.
I'm Katie. You have advocacy today.
And I'm Emily. We have 21 more school days left until the last day of school.